balmy shores of sunny Florida to the cold winds of Chicago and everywhere in between. You're watching the Red Wemette Show, live, coast to coast. And now, Chicago's talk of the town, Mr. Red Wemette.
Hi, folks. Today is September 10th, 2025, and I am Red Wemette. How you doing? We just finished up on Adam's show, my vlog, and I guess it's very top news right now. It's not that I was trying to be mean or ugly against Charlie Kirk, and I'm not just, saying I say what I mean to say. If I don't like, I just say what I want to say, whether they like it or not. But it's not that I disagreed with him at all. Is that I thought he was careless about his own safety. And it didn't really shock me to find out that he was hurt and killed. That didn't shock me at all. But other than that, I look at it as a tragedy. And honest folks, I got to tell you, I don't think it's the last tragedy we're going to see. We're going to see more of it. It's not the end. It's the beginning. There's more tragedy coming. If they can take a shot at the president of the United States and clip him in the ear, they can take a shot at me, Adam, or anybody. It's going to be nuts out there, period. That's the way it is.
How you doing, Red?
I'm doing okay.
All right.
How are you doing, Adam? This is Adam Flowers. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know what happened to Joe.
He'll make his way back in. He'll be in here shortly. So
Adam, if you don't get a new camera, I'm going to buy it for you. You're pink.
I know it's a white balance thing. There you go. That's how I got to fix it. Maybe I'll pop for a new camera.
Tim says it, and I really believe this, Tim. You're right. The world was safer 60 years ago. It was safer.
Was it?
Yeah, it was. Percentage-wise, we didn't have the things going on like we do now.
60 years ago would have been back in the 60s.
It was safer back then.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well,
as far as the world goes, no. Was the United States safer? Yes. But the world, no.
Well, I know Las Vegas was a lot safer back in the 60s.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this stuff that you see in the casinos nowadays, these fights and these brawls and so that shit didn't go on. They wouldn't stand for any of that.
The mob guys that ran the casinos, they'd break your legs.
Sure.
They wouldn't call the police.
Sure.
They called the police when they were done with you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how it worked.
Alan, this is very interesting. That's when people left their doors unlocked. Well, Alan, where I live, I can leave my doors unlocked. I leave the keys in the car. Adam constantly bugs me about it. I leave them in the car because I want to know where they're at. I don't want to lose them. Now, when I'm out and I go someplace, I take the keys out. When I go in the store, I take them with me. But at home, I don't have those kind of problems.
No.
I choose to live different. And you can choose where you live. Everybody has a choice. So we can live wherever we want to live. We can put up with what we want to put up with or not put up with.
No. This is terrible, man.
Scott H says, I think it was safer 40 or 50 years ago, or I was braver. One of the two.
Yeah, one of the two. Yeah. So
I was living in Hell's Kitchen and in 76 or 78 and was afraid. Hell's Kitchen was a little rough. It didn't matter in the neighborhood I lived in. I wasn't afraid of. I never lived in a neighborhood I was afraid of, ever. Even when I lived on Wall Street and I was by Cabrini Green there, it didn't bother me. If it did, I wouldn't have lived there. I would have lived someplace else. Anywho.
Yeah.
Do you think Joe is lost?
Did you send him another link?
I sent him one yesterday. I'll send him one again. I can send him one right now.
Yeah, I mean, you might just click the invite and pop his email in there. He might have lost it, or it might have gone to spam or something.
Yeah. Or he might have used it.
Yeah, it's just kind of crazy. It's just crazy. It's a crazy day, man. Like, just when you thought it couldn't get any kind of nuttier in our country, and you go, wow, there's another nut.
I never say that to him. I never say it can't get worse. It can always get worse. It can always get more crazy.
It's crazy. It's just,
you don't like to think about that, but it's true.
Yeah. There he is. We got him back.
Well,
I figured I'd send you another.
yeah, I couldn't find it. I was just singing my Elvis. I'll go 7 lonely days, a dozen times to go. I'm coming back, Adam. I'm going to hit that. I used to do Elvis, Adam. I did.
Yeah?
I did. I don't know if you know that. I was in a movie called Hidden Obsession. I played with J. Michael Vincent and Heather Thomas from Fall Guy Lee Majors. And I was playing, I was an Elvis impersonator where these girls are getting murdered at the place. And I own the club, supposedly. And in the thing. And so the movie starts out with me doing Elvis. I should send you a copy of it. Just me doing it. It's about a minute long, and that's my voice, actually.
Joe was in Mob Wives too. With
yeah, well, my brother produced it with that girl from New York. You know that, right? My brother Nick is the one that got all the women, Nora and the other one, to be in the show. And my ex-wife went all the way to the finals to be in her. She got it. She lost at the end because I was Sam Giancana's great nephew. So they weren't mob wives; they were mob relatives. There was a niece, the daughter, the German's daughter. So my wife made it to the end, but she was drunk and she screwed up. And she came to the last one drunk and didn't get it. And it would have been 5,000 episodes, 10 episodes. So they got 50 grand. And my brother did a management contract with both of them. You could Google it. He sued them, and they paid him. But that bitch from New York didn't want to pay my brother. They said, nah. Yeah, she thought she owned Chicago, and but they paid him. I mean, he got the women, he got the girls there. They know anybody, right, for that series. So my brother, I went to the auditions with my ex-wife, and I met the lady. The lady's sister was the one who was in there. I guess I don't know. There was the sister that produced it, and they had a good run, But they were their 6th year. The Mob Wives in New York, that was like their 5th or 6th year.
They ran out of New York. They ran out of people, so they came to Chicago.
Yeah, Adam, that scene where they were exhuming the body, Frank's body, right?
Yeah.
They exhumed his body on the show.
Yeah. So okay, so I'm in the one part, right? They need a stand-in. So I sat at the bar where they're talking, the one scene. So I'm like a patron at the bar with a beer, right? My back is there. You see the side of me. And before the show starts, I hear the guy talking, right? There's no reality. Reality, my ass, reality.
Uh-huh.
And okay, here's what we're gonna do. I go, who's that about the body? Like she didn't believe get the body. I'm going, that's stupid. They're talking about how they're gonna do it, right? I go, this ain't. I go, whatever. So I'm sitting there, and Todd, cut every fucking every 10 minutes, 5 minutes. And I keep turning around. Like, it was sort of like weird. And the guy goes, hey, cut, stop turning around. He tells me, the director. And I go, I'm sorry, but, either you sit there and look at the screen, the bartender, whatever it was, and that's it. So I said, okay. So 6 hours, that one scene, 6 hours it took to film it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no reality.
When I moved to Vegas, so I got onto America's Got Talent. That was the first thing. It was in 2006. And I saw how that show was shot. And then reality shows were kind of big in the early 2000s. That was like, Survivor and all of these, the Bachelor, Bachelorette, and all of these.
They were the pioneers.
So when I got auditioned for a show called Mystery Diners, and I went in and I nailed the audition, and they're like, "You're on tomorrow. We're gonna pay you to be at this restaurant. You're gonna be the close-up magician in the restaurant." When we get there that day, the whole place is filled with extras. Not a single customer in this restaurant. The producers put earpieces in our ears. Me, the piano player, and the busboy. And they literally are feeding us lines, telling us how to act, telling us what to do, and they're giving us a synopsis. The magician stealing the tips from the piano player, and the busboy's ratting them out to the girl, and she gets mad. And let me tell you something. And they got the money shot. And the money shot was when I go, she accuses me of doing it. And I go, I'm not doing anything. I go over to this table. People are sitting and grab the tablecloth, and I'm going to do and pull the tablecloth off with all the. I do that. She pushes me. I move a little bit, pull the cloth, all the glassware, everything hits the floor, crashes, and she fell into it. Big ass piece of glass ended up in her butt. And then you think they'd say, okay, stop. We're going to go get you some stitches. Nope. They're like, we could butterfly that thing together. All right, let's get back to the filming. Put her down there in the glass room. Oh, no such thing as reality TV.
You know what, there, Adam? The reality.
Joe, this last night just for you. Adam, do you want to do your magic cigarette trick?
Yeah.
Oh, you want to see it, huh?
Adam, I'm so impressed. My brother.
Get set up for it and come back.
Let me white balance the camera.
Okay.
How the hell you do it? It's crazy.
All right, here we go. So everybody can see. I've never done this on here, by the way.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Oh, wait a second. I got to do something here. Visual effects. Okay.
Oh, fucking thing hanging. That's crazy.
Hold on. Here we go. There. Okay. We're gonna just do the green screen there. All right. Mm-hmm.
Oh shit.
Mm-hmm. Here, check it out.
That's amazing. That's fucking amazing. That's wild.
It's an ultralight.
Whoa.
Yeah. All right, enough of that.
Adam, let me tell you something, Adam. I saw David Copperfield. I've seen a lot. Let me tell you something. You're in that line with him. I'm your listen to me. I'm your biggest fan because I don't know how in God's name. I mean, I'm impressed. I swear to God. That's crazy, Adam.
Thanks.
That's worse than the video you showed me earlier.
It's taken me a lot of places. I can tell you that much.
Jesus, that's amazing. That's amazing. But get back to the reality show. You know why they like reality shows? It costs no money to make them. Actors hated it because you have to pay no union wages. That's why they blossomed.
Sure. And Survivor.
Real entertainment like Adam can't get paid enough money doing his magic.
Adam, let me tell you what. I heard you're a good card player too. You can play card tricks. Let me tell you, I gotta figure something out for you because that that cigarette thing has to have a place in this world here. It's got to have a place in society, you know. So have a place in society because that you do it so nonchalant, so easy. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, there's no string there for sure. Look at that. He likes that. There's no string attached. I mean,
so here's the thing. There was a place for it. When I started doing it back when I was 18 in the 90s, okay, because people smoked still. Now it's so taboo smoking and cigarettes that it's like nobody wants. I mean, look, I did this on America's Got Talent back in 06. They didn't air it. You know why they didn't air it? Because it's a tobacco product.
Wow.
Wouldn't do it. So when I went on the second time, I did it with
toothpick.
a lollipop. I made a lollipop.
There you go. Okay.
Okay. And that was pretty cool looking too, I thought. Different, but cool. And so I did it with that. And they still
sponsor you.
I mean, they showed a few seconds of it on the episode, but
yeah, but they used to give you a bunch of cigarettes and you go out and give them to people.
Oh yeah, cigarette companies used to work. Yeah,
it's amazing. You could do that in a bar. You could do that. I don't know. Set a bar and do it. That's amazing, man. That's amazing.
I can walk. I mean,
that's a gift. That's a gift. I don't care what. You know, I've seen a lot of stuff in my life. That I've recovered since I watched you on the street stuff. You know, I watched all your little things on there, and it was. I don't know if I was in a mesmerizing state of mind that night, but I swear I tried to figure out how you did it, like what you did. Now I told Red, my oldest daughter, she went out with Chris Angel years ago. They went a couple times. She went to Vegas, and I don't know, they're dating, but she hung out with him. And she said he went to dinner with her, and he went like this with his hands. He says, look at my went like this. And then he went like this over her head at the table and pulled out forks and knives in his hand. So whatever, how he did that, she doesn't know. But I was telling Red, and I think this is, we got to do a wise guy, something to do with maybe have guys disappear. I don't know, whatever. But the day when he put that garbage can over his head in the street of Vegas and talking, he had the microphone. The next thing he's on top of the building. They lifted it up. I saw David Copperfield. I was 4 rows from him. I was right there, and I'm looking like this. And I'm like this, look, trying to catch him, right? And I'm watching him. And
Joe, you had a lot of fun at the circus or a carnival.
Yeah. Well, Adam, listen, Adam, you know the trick. I'm watching him. And he's saying goodbye to everybody. Thanked everybody for coming. He has a Harley there, right? And I watch him talk. He's right there. He's like maybe 15 feet from me. And he goes, okay. He hops on the bike, and he puts a helmet on, right? And, okay, then the thing goes over him, disappears. All of a sudden, we're looking around, coming from the ceiling, down way in the back on 4 chains and a wood. And he goes, also coming down, also, and he right over my head now, over my head. I'm looking up, and he comes down right to the show, right to the floor, the stage, and there he is. How the fuck? Now, okay, again, you know that lawsuit they had, the lady tripped, remember? So you sort of had an idea how they did whatever that trick was, like a little secret, right? So I don't know the whole story, so I don't want to say.
That sucks that he had to sit there and do that, because did you see the movie, the 06 movie, The Prestige?
No. But maybe I saw it. But
it's Christian Bale and Hugh Jackman, I think, is the star.
Yeah,
okay?
Yeah.
But the opening scene, the Michael Caine's playing the manager, and he's in court, and they're asking him, "You've got to explain how this is done to the court so the court can understand." He goes, "That's the biggest trick. If I expose that, it's over." You know, and I felt the same thing for Copperfield when he had to do that. I was like, oh man, you know, like.
So there's a secret. Okay, I'm glad you talked about this, and I don't want to get nosy, but there's some kind of thing that you guys all have it's the unwritten rule, the secret unwritten rule here, that you keep that secret, whatever it is, amongst you guys. And is it true for a young guy to come up in that business to find out you have to be accepted? I mean, can somebody just figure it out on themselves, or you have to have help? Like, A young guy. How's that work?
When I was a kid, that's what it took. Okay, you had to go find the magic shop. You had to meet the magicians.
He brought his trick, paid for him.
Yeah, and then you look for the magic club. There's a local magic club in Chicago, Magic Masters.
Okay.
I went. There's also some places. There's some organizations like SAM, the Society of American Magicians, or IBM, which is the International Brotherhood of Magicians.
Right.
All right, and they have conventions where everybody gets together. But as a kid, the way I learned was, it's so funny. I do everything with my left hand, even though I'm right-handed when I do card stuff, because my buddy Royal, I met him when I was 14, and he was 26. He was 12 years older than me, and he'd stand there and teach me at the club. And he was doing it with his right hand, so I was standing there doing my left, mirroring what he was doing. That's how you had to learn how to do those sleights. So everything, it's really bizarre but that's how you had to do it. Nowadays, the kids that want to get interested in magic and want to learn it, all they need is YouTube. It's all there.
Oh, really?
It's all there. Yeah, it's all there to learn.
Here's a question for you. Who's playing the mobster Sam Giancana in the movie November 1963?
Yeah, the guy's Fescoli. Yeah, what's his name? You said it, Joe. His name is. He's a character actor. Dermot Mallory is playing. Wait, Travolta's playing Roselli. The other famous actor who's been in tons of movies, he's playing. I forgot, but the guy's name is, you printed it, Joseph Facelli. If they look it up, F-A-C.
It really looks the part.
Yeah, you got that picture you showed. I was shocked how you found it. Yeah, from that side photo. And you know what? They had to use, Adam, somebody that wasn't famous for Sam, because they didn't want to take it away from Sam, right? You know, like, because it had to be more or less a guy who looked like him than a great actor, right? Because obviously that's the way they want to go that route. Now, Roselli, Travolta, that's probably the main character, obviously. And I didn't know that Roselli was that involved. I know he got killed after it, but I didn't know that he was that much involved. You told me that. And before. And then Accardo. Somebody's playing Accardo. He's in it.
That's the thing I find fascinating.
There it is.
Nobody has ever played Accardo in any movie.
This guy right here.
No, he's not. No, he's not playing him.
That's the guy playing Giancana, right?
No, I don't think so. No, it's
Anthony Accardo.
No, okay, yeah, Accardo. Who's playing Sam Giancana? I'm talking about Sam. What's his name?
Sam Giancana. Where the hell is he? Chucky Nicoletti, Johnny Ellie, Ruby, Oswald, Accardo, Tippian, Jackie Cerrone, Officer McDonald, Giancana Shooter, Pepe, theater officer, Zapruder, Francine. There is nobody listed for Giancana.
That's crazy. Because I got it on my thing.
No,
it's
there is somebody that's
there's somebody listed. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Top cast. Let me see if I go all cast.
Yeah. His name is Facelli. Facelli.
Found him. Thomas Facelli?
Yeah.
I'm close to it. I'm close.
Thomas
that's
Facelli.
him. Yeah, look at that picture. Look at him. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty good. Just look at him. Adam, look at that, Adam. Is that good or what?
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, why not, right?
Yeah. And you know, Adam, after this picture, I think they're doing Legitimate Wise Guy on Tony Spilotro and Tony's influence on my brother in Hollywood. And the relationship that he had with my brother Nick. And they got the funding for it. And I don't know, I saw a couple different cast members, like this one. If you remember, Adam, original cast was supposed to be Pacino, remember Travolta, and a couple other people. And then they had a problem, Adam, with the director. What was his name? Then they had a lawsuit. They didn't want him there. What's his name?
Executive producers that was putting up the money in New York. They wanted to get rid of him.
Yeah. And he did Speed the Plow with Madonna, and a good friend Joe Montana. He was on Bill Maher. What the hell was his? Oh God, I'm losing my mind. Anyways, he
Mhm.
who's playing Chuck Nicoletti? You just had it.
Dermont Mulroney.
Yeah, you know who he is. That guy's been in tons of movies. He was in The Wedding Crasher or The Wedding something. He came as a date to
My
the
best
girl.
friend's wedding, Young
Yes.
Guns in 1988. Young Guns, The Wedding Date in 05. My
Yeah,
best friend's wedding in 97. In August, Osage County, 2013.
That's
but
that was a remake. Osage County was the one that was the remake of one that happened out there with the Indians.
The wallflower, the moonflower, the
Yes, Moonflower.
yeah.
right. I
So-
can't remember the name of it.
So Tony Splatro. Then they had that one guy's playing me. Supposedly, I saw a preliminary on the cast, and Michael Imperioli from Sopranos was supposedly it was listed. And I don't like the character. They're gonna put me in there. But a couple of the scenes I have with the boys, and I don't think it's necessarily that great because you know the story about Michael coming to my old man and tell him I had a problem, which was not good. Yeah, he beefed on me. He said, Nick, I hear your son is Baron Berwin. He's doing shit and he's dealing shit. That wasn't true, right? Yeah, I was maybe partying a little bit here and there. I was young, but not like he made it sound like. And then Black Sunday came at him with it, but my old man put the claw on me. It was over. It was. I didn't know Michael beefed on me. I didn't know. And then this guy a little while later, he comes to me at the bar by himself. Michael, he goes, I got to talk to you about your brother because Bob Conrad was helping my brother Nick. Wild Wild West. Bob's from Chicago. He said they had a fallout. And my brother and Tony called screaming at Bob, said, I want you to help this kid.
All right. It was a
What's that? And my brother Frank, your buddy Frank did not like my brother. Yeah, I don't think he liked him too much because my brother was there every couple weeks and what are you messing with this kid here? He's got a rich father, he's on act, something like that, My brother said they didn't get along. Not that they didn't get along, but it just, it was just but Frank was a no-nonsense guy in a way. He wasn't like, he loved you and everything, but he wasn't like Mr. Personality, I guess. I don't know. But that time, though, you're talking 82, 83, 84, maybe 81. But he moved out there. I forgot when he moved out. He was in like 20 years old. And he helped my brother. Yes. He hit him with Bob Conrad. Bob got him on He got him on Hardcastle Mechanic, A-Team, McCormick. He got him on Magnum PI. The picture of my dad with Tom Selleck, my dad, Michael, when they went to Hawaii. Remember? And although Mike Splatro, he was on Magnum PI. He played a part in there. I wanted to series.
Season 1, episode 11. He was a federal agent.
Right. Oh, look at that. That's great to play. And I had my wedding. I was engaged. I had my engagement wedding at the Hoagies with Michael. Yeah, I rent the whole restaurant out at him, the whole thing.
No.
And I got my diamond from Tony. Yeah, when he came in, I didn't get that great of a deal on it. He was in the back. I went in the back. It was like a couple grand back then, and I thought it was a little high. But bottom line is, and then what I told, I don't know if you heard it. I used to walk from the MGM to his restaurant, his brother, whatever. And Michael didn't want me driving. Tony didn't want me driving, so I would walk. And then we sit talk, about my brother's, how he's helping him. He had just got surgery. Like some of us here, some kind of.
He had quad pass. He had a quad.
He was smoking though. I think he was smoking in front of me, if I remember. But he helped Nicky for sure. And Nicky became Bob Conrad's pigeon. Drive him here, drive him there. He did help him, but they had to fall out with the manager. And got smart. My brother Nick, they're flying back from a wedding. Bob's flying his little Cessna in the sky. And Nicky grabbed the manager. They were fighting in the plane. And Bob's going, hold on, guys. He says, you got the girl's phone number. You lost the part. To my brother Nick. Like smart ass, right? He goes, really? And he starts punching him, I guess. And then after that, it was over because, he knew it was over then at that point. And Tony didn't want to hear about it. But Tony had it.
There'll be no fighting in the airplanes.
That's right. And Tony has his own problems. You think you want to worry about my brother's career? Of course not. And you heard me say the famous saying, when I went to the wake, it was closed casket. I'm up there paying my respect, and I'm with about 2 other guys, and of course I parked and walked to the thing. I didn't park in the parking lot. I walked to the funeral, whatever, or the church. And I said, "Where's my brother's casket?" Like, "What do you mean?" I said, "His career's dead. When they buried these 2 guys, his career is definitely over now. My brother Nick as an actor, because Tony got him in by not muscle people.
He didn't have any more pull to bring him in. That
No
was
pull, right? So that's my dad became a producer. He produced Slaughterhouse Rock. That was what Tony Basil was in there. The guy from Chips, Eric Estrada, the blind god, and then he did the Hidden Obsession, the one I'm in, and then he did a bunch of movies. Dumb. You like this one, Adam? You should rent it. Dumb Luck in Vegas. It's with Joe Travolta, John Travolta's brother, Jeff Conaway from Taxi Grease. I know Jeff personally. He was married to Olivia Newton-John's sister. Jeff was. It was Olivia Newton-John's sister he was married to. And anyways, so he's in the movie. Jeff Conaway, Kelly Emberg, Rod Stewart's girlfriend, had a baby on him, a beautiful blonde. She's in it. 2 guys from Sopranos. It's about 3 Italians from New York, idiots, like the 3 Stooges, going to Vegas, whatever. And they get caught up. My dad is in the movie. You'll see the scene. And he gets shot in the movie, my dad. He kills somebody, shoots somebody, and he plays Nicky Gambino, my dad, or Nicky something. And Joe Travolta's in a scene with my dad, right? And my brother. And then my dad gets shot in the movie, right? He gets killed in the movie. And Jeff Conaway plays the detective. And that's a Joe Travolta script. That's his movie. Okay? So the movie never went out. I don't think it ever went out. The movie obviously did. And the famous director's in it. Wears a beard, who directed Thriller with Michael. I forgot. He has a beard. He's in the movie. Actually, my dad shoots him in the movie.
Okay.
And he did a cameo for John, for Joe Travolta. And I came out there for the movie when they filmed it. I wasn't in or nothing, but I was hanging out there. I think I was out there when Joe DiMaggio. They had a thing for Joe DiMaggio, and my dad was there for his whatever it was. And I told you 2 things you didn't ask Joe DiMaggio. 2 things. Don't ask him for his autograph.
Yeah.
And don't ask him about Marilyn Monroe. Either don't. And so I said, okay, whatever. And he didn't say very much. He was in his 80s, And that's when my dad bought this table, and it was right by the stage, and it was just him and my brother Larry. And my dad got there late. Didn't get there late, went to the table late. Frank Sinatra sitting in it. And my dad starts screaming, "That's my table." The manager comes. Now Frank turns around. He goes, "Frank, that's my table. My name's right there that you put over. It's reserved for Celozzi." He goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. That's my table." He got the manager. He said, "You don't want to." My dad was screaming. So the manager goes, "Hold on. I'll put a table right here next to this table. You be on the dance floor, right there by the stage." And my dad's going, Frank goes, "I'll take that." Nick, no, my dad goes, "I like that one. I'll take the table over here." So they put a table of 10, but only 2 people showed up. And my dad was screaming at Frank. It was a big deal because everybody started standing up. My old man goes, "I didn't care who he was. What was the difference? It's my table." They put Frank Sinatra, because he's Frank Sinatra, at my table, which is wrong, right? And I said, "You tell him who your uncle was?" He goes, "No. Mooney was dead by then, after that." But he met Frank at the McCormick place with Tony and Mike. They went to the McCormick place, and my mother was there. No women allowed. And Frank comes out of the limousine. He goes, "Hey, Mike, how you doing? Give me 5 minutes." And then, "Hey, Mike." Jilly comes out. About 10, 15 minutes, Mike disappears, Tony. And then about 20 minutes later, they call for my dad. My dad went in the back. He had a robe on, and he had lifts in his shoes. Sinatra, lifts.
Tony.
Yeah. And, he introduced him to Nick Celozzi. This is probably doing Nick, whatever, and that was it. But Mike, they introduced him to him in the McCormick place. And the incident that happened was after that. And Frank didn't remember that or nothing like that. But, it was a big deal. He started screaming. And my dad was, I don't blame him. It was expensive, But they my dad Larry put his jacket there by the chair. And my dad only went with 2 people for 10. And they gave the table to Frank. Can you imagine that? And pushed my dad to the side. Like, Don't worry about it. My man didn't take that really kindly. It was bad. And when Frank turned around, what was going on? And my dad said, Frank, you took my table. My name's right there. You took it off the reserve and put it down.
Reserved for your dad. It's reserved.
Yeah. You know, he's very nice. Very, very nice gentleman. He goes, oh, I'm sorry. That's not the point. I don't blame you, Frank. I blame the manager for letting you sit here. He knows that's my table. He saw me put, earlier to see where the table was at. It was like fucking 5,000 or 10,000 for the table. It was a fundraiser. So it wasn't cheap. And my dad waited till, he didn't want to, till the food started. So obviously we were sitting there earlier when it happened. So, but Frank was startled. He didn't know what the ruckus was. And my dad was by no means was gonna fight him or not like that, but he was upset the fact that they gave the table. And Frank was like, and my dad said, Frank, relax. This guy should never give you his table. Now, but then the guy was smart. He goes, well, I could put a table right here. And my dad said, Frank goes, oh, I'll take that. My dad goes, no, hold on, Frank. I'll take that table. So it worked out.
We're all human. We make mistakes.
Yeah, yeah. But that was the 2 times that he I should have said, listen, my uncle's Mooney. I married the niece. But no, I was just joking. That wouldn't have flew. Guy's been dead. And Red's right. Frank Sinatra did not play in Chicago while Mooney was alive.
No.
Once he died, then he came back and played in Chicago. That's true. And I heard that too before all that he wasn't, I don't know what happened, but there was years that
it was 86, man. They burnt the Villa Venice to the ground.
Yeah. I used to always joke with my dad, Adam. I said, when you're 24 years old, right? Now, Figurata, Bobby Figurata, he used to go to Rush Street, right? My dad had a car, and he would drive from the Rush Street on Friday nights and pick up about 10 bags of cash, all the restaurants. He never said a word. And then drop it off Cicero. Well, that guy made $100 for the 3 hours. Back then, $100 a week was big money. He made $100. So after a few months, he tells my dad, he said, do you know who you're marrying? My dad says, no. He goes, you don't know who you're marrying? My dad says, I do not. Okay, you'll find out. He wouldn't tell him. Said, well, who am I marrying? You'll find out. And then that's when my mother said, you have to meet my uncle. And he didn't tell him either until he went to the house. And he was in the house eating Chinese food. Walks in, and he said, oh, how you doing? And sat down really nice. And he said, what do you do for a living? He said, I'm a car salesman. He said, oh. He said, you want a job with the union? Projection union? All my uncles were projectionists, right? And he said, no, I like selling cars. He's okay. He said, I like you to get married at this social place, whatever it's called. I got printing. My brother owns a printing place. Okay. Which my grandmother worked there for 25 years, his sister. And he goes, I can get flowers here. No problem. And then he said, my dad goes, wait a minute. You own some clubs, nightclubs. He goes, yeah. He goes, how about a part-time job running them? And he started laughing. He goes, if I give you a part-time job running these clubs, you won't be married very long. You'll be divorced. And he started laughing. And then he says, okay. He says, do you know who I am? My dad says, no, I don't. He said, well, okay. If you have to, you can use my name. And he did. That one time I told a story for your listeners who haven't heard it. There, he's getting an award, and a guy, my dad's a gentleman, guy's swearing right behind my dad's table. And my dad says, sir, please, there's women here. Please keep the swearing down, please. My dad's in a tuxedo getting an award. About 5 minutes later, the guy's swearing again. He said, sir, I'm telling you for the last time, please have some respect. Well, about 30 seconds later, the guy across, Nick, turn around. My dad turns around. The guy's hit my dad over with a bottle of wine. A bottle. My dad grabbed him. Now, my dad was a boxer. He was a golden glove when my dad could hit. Tough guy. And now the police come. They're taking my dad and this guy out, right? True story. To the lobby. And all the cops are there. And my dad said, hold on. Get your supervisor here. He goes, what do you want? Bring the supervisor. About 4 cops standing there. He goes, that woman in there, right? He goes, yeah. That's my wife. Yes. Her uncle's Momo Giancana. He goes, what? No. He goes, that's her uncle. Hold on a second. They get another guy. Now there's 6 of them. He goes, tell him who your uncle is. He goes, Sam. He goes, holy shit. He goes, okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take these handcuffs off you. You're going to turn around and go straight back in. Do not look behind. Here's my business cards. Tell your uncle we took care of you. Okay. My dad says he turns around, starts walking. They're billy clubbing the dude, right? And they took him in the elevator to arrested him. And they're hitting him as my dad hears guys screaming, right? As my dad walks in. So that's pretty good cloud, right? Think about that. And, and at one time, my dad goes to St. Paul for dinner, right? And the tab comes. He says, your uncle picked it up. Sam was there. He said, really? He goes, I want to thank him. So my mother and him walk. They go down the hall at St. Paul, right? The guy presses a button. The door slides like this, a secret room. And what the hell is this? Who looks in? There's 10 guys, smoked up room, right? Around a table. And my dad walked over there to my mother, his niece. He said, I want to thank you. He said, no problem. My dad shook his head and thanked him, and they left. But my dad said it was so funny, this room. And he had the back, it was like,
Shea Paul was a mob hangout.
Well, it was.
Tony used to go there in '68. He used to go there. It was a place where they even mention it in the movie Casino. Adam, don't they mention something about Shea Paul and Casino?
I don't think so.
Meet you down the street, Shea Paul.
I don't think so.
He's talking. They're talking in code. He's talking to.
When he's talking on the phone, and he said, "Oh yeah, well, why don't you come at this time?" And yeah, I think they do.
I'll meet you, Shea Paul. He said, "Nah, they're all booked."
Yeah.
And you just trigger something. You talk about mental illness, and you talk about violence. I don't know if you know this, Adam. When he was Sam's father was married. He had a sister, Lena, right? 2 of them. She dies. The mother dies, and I think it was he got by a car. His mother dies. The father remarries, right? And they have 5 kids. My grandmother, Josephine. There's 2 sisters and Peppy. So they have 4 kids. He had 4, plus Sam and the other one. That was 6, right? The oldest sister died. Sam's full sister died. So Sam is half brother and sister to the children. Now that lady died supposedly, and he married some other women who had children. But my grandmother, Peppy, Josephine, and they're all their half brother, sister, whatever. I mean, to them, that's the relationship. Okay. So when he was 10 years old, the father, he used to go out and steal to feed the brothers and sisters because the mother wouldn't feed him, the kids first, something like that. So he used to have to, so he was looking out for his family. While the father, he got in trouble, the father used to tie him to a tree and beat him with a branch and left him there. So it was abuse. So it's in the book. Somebody wrote that in one of the books. So there was abuse there. So you can understand the poor guy as a young man, right? He was arrested.
Don't you have a son with a tattoo, a Giancana on him?
Yeah, Momo. And guess who put it on? His great-grandson.
Wow.
Tattoo Mano. Yeah, my brother didn't even know. He went there. My son went there. Listen at him. He goes, what do you want this Giancana? He goes, that's my that's his father, it's the grandson. So his great grandpa. Yeah, great grandpa. And he goes, that's my great uncle. He goes, no. So he had called. He called him. Yeah, he called his dad. He goes, yeah, that's true. Because Carl, one of the brothers, he was at the dealership all the time. Okay, in the 80s and 90s, always at the dealership. And yeah, we don't talk much now. He's called me cousin. But I used to know Peppy, Sam's youngest brother, who used to come here all the time, and Sam's cousin, Nick Giancana, who's a projectionist. And Nick from New York, the Giancana's from New York, right? So Nick Giancana's dad and Sam's dad were brothers. Yeah. They're from Sicily. He's from Sicily. They're Sicilian. Wow. Yeah. Tony's nephew was
in my home with a group of kids waiting on word about both uncles, Glendale Heights.
Tony's nephew.
Tony Spilatro's nephew. It's got to be.
You're talking about Michael. Are you talking about Michael?
Yeah, did Michael,
Tony Spilatro's son die?
Pardon?
Yes.
Yeah. I heard that. Is that true?
I looked it up. I was having an argument with Grok about Vincent being dead. And Gronk's like, no, Vincent's fine. Vincent's alive. Vincent,
No.
look at these, but Red's like, no, dude. He's like, it is, but it's not on the internet. So how does Chat GPT or anybody know, any of these know?
Yeah. Yeah, because my brother had the rights to Tony through the son.
I'll bet you Audrey, the gal that I just put this up, I bet she knows.
Did you know that, Adam? The legitimate wise guy? My brother's movie that he's doing on Tony. I think originally his son was alive when my brother's been trying to do this movie about 7-8 years, right? Things changed. He got busy doing something else. And the son, he had the rights to it. So that was, I don't know if you ever heard about it. Did you know that my brother was doing a movie on it? I wonder if Frank Pilato knew.
I didn't, but I do know. Yes, Frank Pilato did know Vincent.
No, did he know my brother was doing a movie on Tony, legitimate wise guy?
No.
What year did Frank die?
2020.
Okay, so it was just started like maybe a couple years before that, because he's going to use the name. I guess he's going to use the real name. I guess I would assume, but he had the son okayed it. And I asked you why didn't Frank use Spilaccios in the movie Casino? They couldn't use the name, or you didn't want to do it, or
no, there was too many people in the family had to sign off on using the land.
Oh, really? That's how they work.
Like an animal. That whole film, it was crazy. He wasn't like that in real life.
If you read the book Casino, all the names are Spilotro, Collada, Rosenthal, all accurate book. But for some reason, because of legality reasons, they had to change it for the movie. So
So was that Frank's? How do I say it? His narrative, or he was just a consultant?
He was hired. That was who actually wrote the book?
Nick Pileggi wrote the book, and Nick Pileggi wrote the screenplay. He wrote them simultaneously, and he interviewed Frank Rosenthal. And
that's right.
Rosenthal wanted nothing to do with it until he found out that Bob De Niro is going to play him in the movie. Then suddenly he wanted to talk, and so it's based on what Rosenthal told Pileggi, what the law enforcement told Pileggi, what Frank told Pileggi, and Frank said it. I remember Frank saying to me, "I told Pileggi, Tony didn't act like that. He didn't swear like that. He didn't." Yeah.
And I saw Frank say that. Frank did say that. I saw him in interviews. Yeah, he did. That's true. Yeah. I never knew that about him. Of course, I wasn't like into like that. So he was always a gentleman. I told you a story. My dad screamed at him at Hoagie's because we hired a couple salesmen, friends of Frank's, friends of Tony, and the guy fired him. So Tony was in town. He just wanted to talk to my dad about it. So my dad's with all the guys after dinner, and Tony sitting next to him like a chair, like sort of cockeyed, and waiting to talk to my dad, waiting to get done. My dad's telling a story, whatever. And Nick, you got a second, Nick? And all of a sudden, I don't think my dad remembers it. My dad turns around, listen, don't you tell me what, screaming at Tony, like, don't, you're here to try to get the guy's job back. And Tony goes, Nick, no. He gets up and walks. I got up my table, walked. I went in the kitchen with him. I said, the old man's just a few cocktails. I said, I know the story. The manager fired him. I'll get him back. Oh, you will? Yeah. The old man, he goes, I know.
Tony was not an animal. Tony was
I heard we had the guy back. So Tony, I like Tony. I thought they picked up my check in Vegas. Remember, I left and they called my dad. Hey, Adam, I thought I was on comp when I went there. So I left the hotel, never paid. And by the time I was home next morning, my dad got a call. Bill Sullivan from the NJ, he was running. Bill Sullivan, he goes, hey, your son walked out on this tab, $400. My dad goes, what? So my dad pages me. He goes, hey, big guy, did you walk? I go, what do you mean walk out? It was comp. It's not comp. That's me comp. You don't get comp. You pay. He goes, I can't just walk out on the tab. I go, well, I didn't walk out. I thought, why would I walk out? He goes, it looks bad, okay? It looks like you just walked out. I said, who told you it was comp? I said, nobody. What made you think it was comp? I go, well, I assumed, right? Well, it's been when I was with him, it was cop, my dad, right? Before I assumed, I said, this is reservations, my dad. Yeah, you threw my name in there, but they know it was you, my dad. I said, first of all, it's not about the money. He said, you just can't do that. I get a call from Bill Sullivan. It looks like, like we're a bunch of, I go, I get it. Now you got to call Bill Sullivan, apologize to him. And the manager, too, that you convinced it was comp or something, because they didn't want to let you go. And I go, guy goes, well, I guess I told him whatever. And I had to call. I had to call and pay it, Adam. I had to call and convince Bill Sullivan that I thought it was comp. So it wasn't about call and apologize. I had to talk to him and be respectful. And I did. I said, Bill, I'm so sorry. He bitched me out. Yeah. He goes, I have to pay that. He said, if you don't pay, I have to pay that. You're under my realm. See, if people are gamblers, they pay their, the rooms. So something like that. He goes, you don't come here at all. I couldn't justify that. You just don't give rooms away. It makes, and here's me. Well, I got my cheeks spread at him. Because I'm sitting there like listening to this guy, older guy, like, well, come on, is that bad? Well, my dad goes, it is that bad. That's his job. Okay. And I hopefully that I got my point across. And I talked to everybody, but yeah, that never happened again. That was the first and last time. Tony got me tickets to Rodney Dangerfield. I paid for him. Tony goes, I got you hooked up, Rodney Dangerfield. I said, great. He never said it was free or never said what it cost.
Which hotel? Which hotel?
Yeah, the MG. I think it was MGM. I think. I don't remember. That's a good question. This was back in 90. Oh, I'm sorry. Back in 80. Well, it had to be 83, 84, something like that. Yeah. Yeah. But the thing about it was I paid the tickets. They weren't free. He got me reserved, right? But they weren't free. They gave me nothing. I'm not my dad. So I was what did I have? Shit.
You had to pick them up at the box office or what?
Yeah, something like that. Hey, Adam, I'm not a gambler, Adam, at all. And I went to the table. As I'm walking, I see the $100 table. One guy, I put $1,000 in one hand. I don't know why I did it. I went blackjack. So I won $1,500. I go in there with $2,500 now, right? And I'm laughing. And everything. I 5 Coors Lights. I run back like 25 minutes later, back to the same table, right? Different person. And I put 1,000 and 1,000, right? And guess what I have? I have 13 and I got 12, right? In mine. And the dealer's showing 3, right? What should I have done? I should have stuck, right?
Yeah.
Assuming.
Yeah.
What did I do, Adam? I pulled 2 picture cards and busted out. Guess what he had? He had 13.
Yeah, and you took his 10s.
I took his 10, and that was it. The last time I ever gambled like that, ever. So I'm a bad. There you go. So that was it for me. There at the thing, but I saw Rodney. Listen, I didn't have it like my brother did with him. He'd go there and sit with him, and they hung out because he was helping him. He liked my brother, and Bob was tight with him. I didn't know Bob Conrad was tight with him like that, with them, with Tony and Michael. I didn't even know Bob's name was Conrad Falk. That's his name, Adam.
I'd heard about
Conrad.
them, but I didn't know how tight they were until Bob actually showed up at the funeral. He went to the Mount funeral home.
Yeah, and his old T-Bird, his 57 T-Bird, he came up. Hey, Jordan.
Your dad took over the Funk Stanley, Zell Patrick, Chevrolet.
Yeah. It was the Chevy dealership before my dad was Zeppelin. Okay. And the reason my dad got it, because when they built the dealership, it was on Roosevelt Road originally, right? And when they widened the road, they put him on a frontage road, Zeppelin. You had to go back. You had to go a mile past it. It put the guy under. So that's my dad.
Location.
Yeah, my dad figured it out. He was smart. And my dad was 37 years old, young man, 36 years old, young guy for a dealership.
What year did he buy that?
80. My dad bought that in 67, opened up 68. Hey, Adam, my dad owned El Monte Ford. He owned 10% of El Monte Ford Melrose. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah. When my dad was in Glenview at Glenbrook Ford with Al, right? Al hired my dad and made him a manager because down the street, my dad was beating him all the time. And so he had lunch with my dad. Said, I'm going to promote you as a manager. My dad left, became manager. After about 2 years, he says, listen, Ford wants to put me in a dealership in Melrose Park. Ford. He said, why not take it? He said, we live in Elmhurst. We're driving to Glenview every day, 45, 50 minutes with traffic. He goes, well, if we do, you buy 10%. He said, you'll be my dealer operator. My dad's okay, fine. He did. So now he goes on, Maury Edelson's in the office as office manager, right? The two of them now, right? And so then about a year, that was in 65 maybe. Yeah. And a year later, or 2 years later, Maury gets a call from Dick Fensel about Zeplac. And my dad tells Maury, he says, Maury, first of all, I don't have money to buy in, 25%. Well, he wants to pitch it to us. So Dick Fensel says, here, I'll give you 25% and Maury 25. You buy in with a 5-year buyout. So he says, we'll go for a loan for your down payment, something like that back in those days. I'll sign for you. And then my dad told Al was pissed. How could you leave me? He goes, first of all, that's Chevrolet. We're at Ford here. And Al would talk to my dad for 7 years. And finally they did talk. But so Nick and Maury went with Fensel and bought him out in 2.5 years. And that's when Dick Fensel goes, listen, there's a Chevy store we can open up in Glendale Heights. He goes, my dad goes, how are we going to do it? He says, nah, it's too much right now. So he put Tufo, Fensel Tufo. And that's when Dick Fensel opened up Fensel Tufo. So he actually at one time owned 2 stores. And then Tufo bought him out, like my dad. And then the guy died of stomach cancer.
He opened the Cadillac store.
What's that?
When did he open the Cadillac store?
Okay, so then he went. After that, he had Toyota and Chevy in Watersville, Wisconsin. Toyota, Jaguar, Saab in Westmont in '72. Cadillac was 84. It was Cullerton Cadillac. Shirey owned it. Okay, and that was in Brookfield. They were there 40 years. Okay. And my dad wanted a Cadillac store, bought that store in Brookfield, and then moved it to Hotchkiss, brand new store. That was 84. And then,
that's the store that, what's her name? She was starring in The Color Purple. She was one of the stars in The Color Purple.
no. You're talking about Oprah. Oprah bought a car from my dad in Corvette in 85. Adam, it's funny because that store there, Adam, the Chevy store, when he became really famous with all the advertising with Pizza Hut and Budweiser and U.S. Cellular, he was doing commercials for everybody, right? So if you were anybody, they all came to my old man. Governor, Mayor Daley, everybody bought Paul Harvey. Anybody came to my old man, younger brother of Steve. Yeah.
She's answering the question that I asked.
Oh.
So a long time ago. I got to back up here for other comment because she mentioned that somebody. Come on, Audrey.
Tony's nephew's in my home with a group of kids waiting about both uncles. The younger brother of Steve is who it was.
Okay.
Yeah. And Adam, so everybody was buying cars from my old man. It seems like he was the first guy that branded his name before branding. It was weird. They didn't come to buy Chevys. They came to see him. It was weird. And so, some people at my wedding, I had Governor Ryan was there. Mayor Daley's sister was there. I had judges were there. And then the wise guys on the other side. I had the mob guys on the one side and the politicians on the other. I even had
You've had an interesting life.
Attorney. What's that?
You've had an interesting life.
Yeah, I had and the problem is, Adam, when you hang with people like that, my problem was when you're going to dinner with them. I was friends with Orlando Ayupa's right-hand man, and at that time he was building Carlisi's house, Bartlett. I was at his house before it was done. And when you hang with those guys and you do a little business here and there, it's not good. It's not good because then you get the heat, and that's what they did. They moved out 9 agents from Washington, New York, and moved them here, and they were in the union. My best friend was a president of the produce union, forklift union, and they were in the union.
It's time to say goodnight.
Already. Adam, let me tell you something. This is so fun here. And this cigarette trick, we got to do something with it. I got to fly you out and do a show here. Yeah, I'm going to see if I can produce a show. Seriously. You know what? Are you still good?
North Carolina, right?
That's amazing, that trick. I swear to God. And you do it right in front of people, right? Right there. People right there next to you. How, guys, is it? It's amazing.
Well, thank you very much. And I got to say, it's been a pleasure being on the show with you again. This was a lot of fun today. I got to say, all the people we've had, you're pretty interesting, man. You know, a lot of stories. So
both my big brothers ran with each other. Not sure which brother. Their dad was Tony and Michael.
Well, Michael had one kid, two kids, a daughter and a son, right? And Tony had a son.
Right. Yeah.
Right. That's it. Yeah. And they were babies when I knew them. I mean, Andy Splotkin was friends of my mother.
And Michael was, I think he was 8 years old when his father was murdered.
Yeah. I mean, they went on trips together. Michael and Tony Centracchio. You know, Tony. He had Manhattan Road with the German. German him took that road. Yeah. You know, the bookstores there and everything. Yeah, Adam. I was in the middle of all crap. Never did anything, but I got thrown into everything. Right.
Yeah.
The FBI want to know before I hang up. They want to know how come half the cars wise guys drive Celozzi cars. They buy them. Well, they buy Rizza. They buy Pomani, Mancari.
Do you want to come back Monday, Joe?
I'll come back anytime. I told you I'm moving in with you two guys. I'm gonna have time with you, Red, and have time with Adam. I love it.
It's awesome. Well, cool. You guys enjoy the rest of your days. Thanks for coming on.
Adam, I love it. Thank you for inviting me. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, man. Thank you so much for coming on. We'll see you next time.
It. God bless.
The combination of the videotapes and Wemette's testimony resulted in the conviction of two men on extortion charges. One of them was Frank Schweiz, known in syndicate circles as the German, a feared mob terrorist and a suspect in a number of gangland murders.
He was described to me by other outfit individuals as the most feared hitman. And as he said to me, my reputation precedes me, son.